To a female cookies. We call it the beef that's a sausage. We call them cushion. We don't speak ill of the dead. Hope you won't be offended by the things that are said. Play a devil advocate. Now I'm here to judge you. I suck your truth source. You first right out of love. Everybody's kissing. Nobody's tripping. This life's too crazy. Everybody's flipping. This life's so crazy. Run and tell your friends. You want the right side. This believes to the end. It's an open forum. Never done before. It's a future. It's a no, cousin. No bugging. Now it's a charge to switch for because we don't really care if you're right or you're wrong. The tune is the myth. It was every time it's found.
And we go a little something like this. Hit it!
At some point, you will be offended by something said on this show. But playing devil's advocate is meant to be a forum for open, honest, and more importantly, judgment-free dialogue. The opinions expressed here may not necessarily be those of the host or of the show in general, but we're willing to have the uncomfortable conversations so that we can heal and find solutions for our listeners and quite possibly even ourselves. Enjoy the show.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Ms. Kiki, the consummate provocateur, and for the next 120 minutes, we are going to edutain you. That means for the next 2 hours, you're going to be educated and entertained, and I cannot wait to get into the conversation tonight. But before I do any of that, I need to take care of some of the light housekeeping so we can get into the show. So for those of you guys who just may be joining us, we are here each and every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central, and 10 p.m. to you guys on the East Coast. And if you happen to miss the live broadcast of the show, you can always go to the iTunes store and type in our name, Playing Devil's Advocate, and there you'll be able to download any of our episodes that we have done. You won't miss anything, right? It's free of charge. So while you're there in the iTunes store, if you would type in my name and purchase yourself a copy of my book, The Other Woman Code of Conduct, What Every Other Woman Should Know, and Men Too, now would be a good time to do it. It's the holiday season. It makes great stocking stuffers. There's really no excuse why you should not spread the love, share the wealth with everybody that you know and love. And let's see here. If you don't have access to the iTunes store, it's going to make me give you a side eye, but just in case you don't, you can always go to KiKiRichardson.com, and there you'll be able to purchase any merchandise, a copy of my book, listen to any archive shows, find out about our hosts, our guests, everything right there on KiKiRichardson.com. You also need to know that we are streaming in real time, and what I mean by that is we are highly interactive. So we are live on YouTube via Google Hangouts, and the way that you can find out how to watch us there is to go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Playing Devil's Advocate. I'm dropping stuff. Facebook.com/Playing Devil's Advocate, and you can click on the link. You can watch us on YouTube, and you can be a part of our interactive chat room that we have right there on there. And you can also send us a tweet at PDA_Ms. Kiki. That's PDA_MSKIKI. So if you are not following us on Twitter, shame on you. You should go ahead and do that now. Again, you can always give us a call here at 347-237-5271. Don't forget to press 1 so that we know you're in the queue and you have something you would like to share with us. We don't care about your name, your identity, any of that stuff. We just care about what it is that you have to say. So make sure that you press 1 so our producer know that you're in the queue and you have something you would like to share with us. It's about that time that I bring in the children. Even though this is an adult conversation, I seem to have a bunch of big kids hanging out with me every week, and this week is no different. First up, she hails from the Windy City, my hometown. She is a fallen angel, and if you don't know how or why she fell from grace, she coined phrases that are so apropos for today's show, like lube is for amateurs and you need to have a get out and fuck free card. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Miss Sporty, Spunky, Angel. What's up,
Hello,
Punk?
darling. What up, girl?
How you doing today?
I am doing well, love. How are you?
I've been having some interesting days, but that's okay. You know, it could be worse.
Fantastic. Hey, Jade.
You see,
I mean,
Jay, that's my
Sage.
homie.
Yes,
That's
yes, I see her.
Sage.
Sage, excuse me.
Sage. Yes.
Sage. Excuse me.
And now that you see the little one over my shoulder, let's go ahead and bring on the little one over your shoulder.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know him. If you're a woman, if you ever dated him, you probably hate him. He thinks he's something like a pimp, slap, but we say he's absolutely nothing like a pimp. So that's and lap for him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Mr. Andreas Ferguson. What's going on, man?
Pimping ain't
What?
easy, but it's something that I gotta do. What's happening, PDA friends and fans? What's
And
the
you're
deal?
not even good at doing that. Word on the street is you got dumped. I'm just saying what the word on the street is.
Purposely.
Okay, sure. That's what they
She
all
just
say.
did my dirty work for me.
That's what we all say. You trying to save
That's
face.
okay.
It's okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that you have been
Cute.
introduced to the cast of characters that will ride shotgun with me today, tonight's topic is sex as is a weapon. Protect yourselves at all times. And sex has really become a weapon, for real, for real. And being sexually irresponsible can cost you your life in some ways. And tonight we're going to talk about how to protect yourselves, the importance of knowing your status, and how dodging that pregnancy bullet is the least of your concern these days. I'm just saying what the word on the street is. Right? That's some randomness that I... Okay, so while Sporty over there gets herself together, yeah, that's okay. But it's not a problem. But I want to talk about a couple things. Over the past couple, well, y'all don't know, in our production meetings, we had some really interesting conversations. And this week, I should say last week's production meeting is no different than any other production meeting that we've had in terms of the kind of conversations that we had. Our production meetings can pretty much be a show in and of itself. You know what I mean? It's crazy. And so our producer and I got into a conversation during our last production meeting. And we were talking about protecting yourselves and, being responsible or being sexually irresponsible and all of those things. And, I mean, we've touched about sexual responsibility a couple times. And this particular production meeting, we kind of went back and forth a lot about when is there a limit? Because we talk about all the time how some women use abortion as birth control. Well, technically,
Right.
abortion is birth control, right? But
well, if you put it that way, yeah.
I mean, technically, abortion is a form of birth control. However, I think when people use that verbiage, they use it like birth control. They're meaning the abuse of it, right? And
Yes,
so,
yes.
I want to know if Chan is actually available to be a part of this conversation. I know she's BWI right now. So, but one of the things that came out of our discussion was, is there a number of times that you can have an abortion where it turns from birth control into abusive or irresponsibility, sexual responsibility? Andreas,
If you are you asking Chan or myself?
Chan.
Well, Andrea, when was the last time you had an abortion?
When was the last time I had an abortion? Well, I've been the cause of 6, maybe 7. So,
Damn.
hey, I speak the truth.
I mean, that's the truth. And I think you lost Kiki for a second. People can't hear you if you're trying to.
I'm not trying to talk. I was listening to Andreas talk about how irresponsible he is with his dick. But we'll talk about his irresponsible dick a little later. No, we'll talk about that a little later because we're going to talk about what can happen to you and your irresponsible dick. So, Chan, back to our conversation that we were having. Ma'am is, you know who ma'am is. Back to our conversation that we were having in our production meeting. You asked the question. Go ahead and repeat the question.
Well, I just wanted to know, since everybody says, that there's an abuse of, abortion and it can be used for birth control, so technically it is used for birth control. How many is too many before we decide that it's abuse? And is it really abuse?
Anybody want to tackle that one? I think that's kind of subjective. You know what I mean? And I think having that sliding subject, it being subjective is kind of hypocritical in some way. But very few people, I would say, have had 10 abortions in, let's say, over a 20 or 30 year span of having sex, right? So let's just say if you've been having sex since you were, I'm going to use you for examples, Chan. Let's just say, and this is not true, this is just people for the sake of conversation. Let me put that out there. This is just purely for the sake of conversation. Let's just say, for example here, Chan, you started having sex at the age of 15, right? And you're now 45. You just celebrated your 45th birthday. So that would give you a span of 30 years to have been fucking. Now, is 10 abortions in that 30 years, is that really bad? Because what does that average out to? You know what I mean? No, well, you the math person. You remember you're a left brainer. I'm a right brainer. But that's one every 3 years or something like that. Something like that. Okay. Now, let's just say for somebody who is 29, right? And they've had 10.
She'll hook up.
What do you say then? Andreas, wait, hold on. Andreas, keep your mouth shut because, first of all, 1, you ain't never had one. 2, you're very judgmental and you call names and you know that is against the rules about calling people names. So zip it, lock it till I call on you. We're going to go to Chan.
Okay, well, the thing, if he's 29 and then already had an abortion, she got a whole lot of other stuff going on anyway. So it's a whole lot of other irresponsibility going on in the first place. But I think what happens is when we categorize abortion as for emergency purposes only.
We do?
When it actually, well, yeah, because if you look at it, it's like, oh, no, you didn't have to do abortions. What the hell going on with you? When it's a part of birth control, and that's what it's there to be used for. If I fucked up or fucked up, I fucked up and fucked up 5 times in the same year, I shouldn't be held to a higher standard as if I only fucked up once.
Well,
I don't think it's that you're being held to a higher standard. I think you're being held to a standard. You know what I mean? It's not a higher standard. It's a standard. And at some point,
Exactly.
you have to draw the line of, again, like I said before, getting pregnant is the least of your concerns, right? But the reality is you're being irresponsible just in general. I know you said, there are a host of other things that are going on, but that still doesn't negate the fact that you're 29 and had 10 abortions, right? That's the fact. Okay, I could tell. I can tell you from my perspective what I think that we didn't even go down in our production meeting, and then we'll let Sporty jump in there too. What I think the difference is, one is a surgical procedure, right? And one is preventative, and the other one is after the shit has happened. So if you're taking the pill every single day to prevent pregnancy, you're having an abortion to prevent childbirth. Those are two different things, because you're already pregnant.
If someone like, we can take me for example, who can't take the pill. So now I'm subject to, maybe my subject being limited. Like, I know some people who can't take condoms. You know what I'm saying? Who can't, they're allergic to the latex in the condom or the spermicide, whatever the spermicide, create a whole nother issue. The fact that you're pregnant or going to be pregnant is probably the least of your concerns, because there's so much other bullshit out there you can.
I don't think abortion is taboo. I think the abuse of the abortion is where people kind of look at you like, I think there was a time when abortion was taboo, but I don't think that in and of itself it is anymore. But Sporty, go ahead. You can say something on this, because I know you've been kind of chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, I feel differently about it now, but I used to have a problem with it because, I used to fight with my sister about it a lot, because that was her form of birth control. She was at the time, 25, 26 years old, and she had like 4 abortions, in the span of 4 or 5 years, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why don't you just take birth control? She could have taken the pill. She's like, well, I don't want to remember to have to take a pill every day. If I get pregnant, I can just go get rid of it. I don't want to have any kids. And then she finally got to the point where, her doctor tells her, well, if you keep having abortions, you won't be able to have any kids ever. So when she finally got pregnant the last time, well, I'm going to just keep this one because I do want a kid, so I'll just keep this one. So, in case I can't have any more, I'll have this one. So I was like, well, you having this one just because you may not have any more ever again in life. And, you done messed up your body to the point where you didn't have so many abortions where you don't have a choice but to have a baby now at this point. Now, we've come so far now at this point, 20 some odd years down the line, where you got these morning after pills and whatever else you can do, aside from going under the knife and having the vacuum cleaner pull the motherfuckers out of you or whatever. But, it's different. But I looked at it as, you just going to say, okay, well, let me go hop up on a table and suck it out and, I'll be fine. So I had a problem with it back then, and I thought it was irresponsible to go and just say I'm going to have an abortion instead of being responsible and take a pill.
Well, clearly at the time she was comfortable on her back with her legs open. I mean, whether it was to enjoy it or not to
have
enjoy
an abortion, right? Or
no, either way. But the fact of the matter is, and to kind of touch on what Chan was saying about people who can't take birth control, I've never been able to tolerate it, right? So I've never taken it.
But I mean, on the flip side of it, both my kids was Ortho Nova 28-day babies. So, what the hell? What I say, what's the point of taking the damn pills anyway if you're going to get pregnant from them? So, fuck a pill.
Right, but again, I think the bigger issue is one is preventative of pregnancy and one is preventative of childbirth.
Yeah.
And I think, though, that is kind of what makes the difference in the way people view it. Because, and I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong or it's the good or bad. I'm just saying that in terms of how it's viewed, if you're doing something to keep yourself from finding yourself in this position, right? Taking birth control or whatever, or using condoms or blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing that I find interesting is that oftentimes these people who are having these multiple abortions on top of abortions, it's not oops, you know, in terms of, oh, I did use birth control, I did take the pill, or we did use condoms and all this other stuff, and oops, you know, it just happened, right? That's not the case. These are people who are just raw going bareback. These are people who are skipping pills and da 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 da. You know what I mean? It's a bigger picture about how people view and treat their bodies is what I'm seeing the picture as. I don't even think so much as if you have an abortion, so what? You have an abortion, is your body. You ultimately have to deal with those decisions yourself. But when you're abusing because what would you do if, it's like if you didn't have that as an option, you wouldn't be so quick. It's kind of like I think about divorce. If there was no such thing as divorce, people would think long and hard before they fucking hitch their wagon to somebody else in matrimony.
True.
You know?
True.
Now, how to get to do what they want to do when it's something they feel like doing. And no matter what's in play, they still gonna do what they want to do. So that's why that was my point of saying, is it abuse? If it's an option, there to do it. Problem being, from what I see, is that either or, you can still wind up with a host of other stuff. I mean, maybe it's the least of your problem. Whether you know.
I know.
You have AIDS that keep around like what?
Okay, Chan. Okay, in the effort to not move the conversation too forward too fast, we're clear about that. That's the least of the concern. You know, it was just the conversation that you and I were having in terms of that leads into that conversation, because it's like you're not protecting yourself, right? You're not putting on a condom. You know, as I used to refer to a group of guys that I used to hang around all the time, and they had the reindeer games, and I used to say, you know what, I used to call them dirty dick mofos, right? And I'm like, because I don't understand. At some point, you can't keep, like, if you got 6 dudes in a room and all 6 of y'all are wearing condoms, but y'all all running in the same chick, the condom can only take so much stress before it loses what its purpose is.
Its purpose is, right.
So ultimately, you may as well fuck raw at this point, because you've still made yourself susceptible to whatever is going to happen, breakage, leakage, whatever. And in terms of that, you know, people misuse and abuse ways to prevent certain things, and that was just one way that we were talking about, you know, Chan, in terms of the abortion. Women are out here having abortion after abortion after abortion to keep from having, you know, having babies, when they didn't do the other stuff that could have prevented it as well. I mean, of course, we're not going to argue for the exception. Yeah, we're exceptions in terms of not being able to take birth control or tolerate them. Somebody who's allergic to latex condoms would be an exception. Someone who is allergic to the non-oxal, you know, somebody who's allergic to the non-oxalol 9, which is the, you know, of the active ingredient in the spermicides and in condoms. Those are the exceptions to the rule, but by far, in general, that 29-year-old who's had 7, 8, 9, 10 abortions, she's just fucking being irresponsible. And she is abusing her body along with all of the other things that go along with that abuse, meaning having those multiple abortions and all of that scar tissue on her uterus. And the possibility of, because they have talked about there may be some causative issues between not for carrying babies to term and breast cancer later on, because you get your mammary glands already working, and then nothing happens, and then later on down the line you may, again, that's still some of the things that are going. But go ahead, Sporty.
I was just going to say, you have Louis in on our Twitter line saying that there was a chick in his high school who had 3 abortions by the 11th grade, and he said that did that fuck up her body at such a young age. And it's quite possible, because 3
What
at a young age.
How old are you in the 11th grade? How old are you in the 11th grade? You're
like
15, 16,
15 or 16, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, you 16, 17, because high school, senior year is 17, 18, right?
Something
so
like that,
depending on it, right? Okay, your body is still growing and maturing. At that time. So that's trauma. You know what I mean? As much as, somebody may not want to think of it, but it is trauma. Again, back in the day, we didn't have the luxury of the morning after pill. We didn't have the luxury of the abortion pill where you could take the pill and, spontaneous what they call it, spontaneous abortion, which is a miscarriage. Basically, it induces a miscarriage. We didn't have the luxuries of that. So you literally had to go. The only decision you had at the time was anesthesia, no anesthesia.
There you go. One or the other.
You know what? Either you're going to be asleep or not asleep, right? That was the only choices that, we pretty much had to choose from. And I can't imagine somebody who was awake wanting to do that over and over and over and over again. I'm just saying, for me, I don't get it. But, there are some people, desperate times calls for desperate measures, They said she got left back too. She was too busy fucking. I bet she was paying attention to sex ed though.
Clearly. What was it, health?
Yeah, for those of you guys who just may be joining us, this is Playing Devil's Advocate. I am your host, Miss KiKi, the consummate provocateur. And today we are examining sex is a weapon. Protect yourselves at all times. And we're talking about all of the ways you can protect yourself, you should protect yourself, and how we just had this conversation with our producer about how, getting pregnant these days is the least of your concerns. We've also talked about how using abortion as a form of birth control is it abusive, or is it, at some point just is what it is? If you want to be a part of the conversation, you can send us a tweet, as Louis Darkside is, at PDA_Miss KiKi. You can post to our Facebook wall at facebook.com/Playing Devil's Advocate. You can also chat with us on YouTube, because we are streaming live via Google Hangouts, and you get that on facebook.com. What's up, Felicia, in our chat room? Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. So I see you in there as well. Also, we are, if you want to give us a call at 347-237-5271, don't forget to press 1 so that we know you're in the queue and you have something you would like to share with us. And there's so many ways you could be a part of this conversation, so there's no excuse for you not to be a part of the conversation and give us your 2 cents. Period, point blank, end of story. So with that being said, that brings me to kind of like the meat and potatoes of this conversation, right? And it takes me to you, Andreas.
Okay.
I alluded to actually, I didn't allude to it. I actually said it earlier in the show that you're very judgmental. You've admitted to it yourself. Before. Yes, you've admitted to it before on the show. And you're quick to call people names.
Okay.
Right? Hooker, hoe, tramp, slut, all kinds of names, right? Okay. My question to you is, last night you sent us a message in our group chat saying that Mary Jane Paul is a slut. Now, he was adamant about a TV character. So imagine how he is about actual human being, right? So I wanted to say, I didn't respond to you in that instance because I wanted to save it for our conversation today. And the reason why I wanted to do that was because I wanted to ask you, what about what you saw on Being Mary Jane made you say she was a slut?
Well, I really couldn't tell the progression of days while watching it, but it seems to me that she has sex with one man one night and a totally different man the very next night. So there it is. She's having...
Were you watching the same show I was watching?
Yeah, the really big buff guy, she hit one night, and then the next night it was the white guy. And like I just said, I can't tell the progression of time while watching the television.
All right. Okay. So let's just say it was one night apart, Andreas. Let's just say it was one night apart. My question to you is, you're quick to hold her to a standard that you don't even live up to.
Well, there's a double standard there.
Who she being a hoe with? No, it isn't.
Everyone
no, because listen. In order for her to fuck somebody to be a hoe, she had to be fucking somebody, just like you. In order for her to be, you have to. So the reality is, you can't even stand up to the whole standard that you set for somebody else.
I've changed my ways.
Anyway, you better scoot over, Sporty. I hate for you to get hit by that lightning, because he's putting his hand up like he's putting his hand up to God.
I've changed my ways.
But here's my question to you, though.
Okay.
Clearly, you don't watch the show on a regular basis. So the big buff black dude that she was having sex with, that's her cut buddy. She's been doing him for a minute. Okay? The white dude is a new dude. My question to you is, when you fuck somebody new, are you as sexually responsible as she chose to be? But you called her a slut.
Oh, you mean with the plate of tests? Is that what you mean?
Yes, that would be what I'm talking about.
Honestly, I do use condoms. I have to. First of all, I'm allergic to latex.
I asked you a closed-ended question. Okay.
No,
thank
I
you.
am not as careful as Mary Jane. There's your answer.
Okay.
There's your answer.
Because what, ladies and gentlemen, what you watched was his attempt, or what you heard was his attempt to circumvent the answer by rationalizing, and y'all know how I feel about rationalize. Break the word down, rational lies, right? He's going to tell us a rational lie as to why his behavior is somehow acceptable, when in actuality, he called her a name and disparaged her, which you do, not just with TV characters, but in general with women, but you are worse than they are. You are sexually irresponsible.
No, I'm not. I use condoms.
Okay, you use condoms all the time, Andreas?
I can't
look at Kermit over there. Look at Kermit over there sipping her tea.
Justin's on some old garbage over here.
Sporty, I need you to stay focused. Let him tell his story.
No, I do not. I can't say that I do. I can't say that I do. If I'm with someone that I have sex with on a regular basis, then I can't say that I do.
And what is the regular basis? You still don't use
3-4 times a week.
Okay, if you fucking somebody 3-4 times a week, you in a relationship.
No, I'm not. I don't do relationships.
Yes,
I'm allergic to them.
And we just got a tweet too saying dirty dick mofos are always the first one to call a chick a hoe.
That's all right. I can admit to mine. I am not.
You can admit. Wait, Andreas, you're lying. You cannot admit to yours. I literally had to pull it out.
It's a double standard.
I need a flag because T on that bullshit. Anyway,
it's a double standard between men and women. We all know that.
No, it is not. Sex is sex. Whether you're having sex or she's having sex.
It's not the same, KiKi. It's not.
Who are you fucking?
Women and men are held to different standards.
Hear your flag, KiKi. It's on the flag.
Okay, thank you. Wait. Hang on a second. Andreas, I hear what you're saying, but what you also need to hear what you're saying is the only people who are putting that double standard in place are people like you who want to justify their own behavior.
Fine, I'll take that. I'll take it.
They said on Twitter, they said you're in denial, and they also said that hold on, let me get it right. They said you be doing the boyfriend shit talking about you single.
Mm-hmm.
No, I am not. I am single. I'm allergic to relationships. I have a relationship phobia. I am single. That's it. I have not made a decision one way or the other about anyone. And I don't see myself doing that at any time in the near future.
But so Andreas, before we go down a rabbit hole here, because we clearly can. What I'm saying, what we want you to get in this moment, if you don't take nothing else away from the conversation other than to wrap your dick up and this here comment I'm about to make to you, is that if you're not ready to be in a relationship, stop doing relationship shit.
I don't do relationship shit.
Yeah, don't tell it. You could tell a lot of people that don't know better. Stop.
If she comes over and leaves after that.
Here's the thing, Andreas. Your first instinct is to defend yourself. You can't defend yourself from somebody who knows the truth. So I'm saying to you, if you don't want a relationship, stop doing relationship shit. Period. If you need me to break down what relationship shit is,
I need you to break it down.
I can do that at another time because that's not what this show is about. Or you can go back and check some of the archive shows that you weren't on the show for, and you can listen to those. But you need to stop doing that. Sporty, you got something you need to say?
So, if you fuck abroad and you don't cover up your dick and you let her stay over there with you, I didn't say with you, I said with you, and you cooking for her and you letting her come stay with you overnight from out of town, that's relationship shit. If you calling her, letting her believe that she in a relationship with you, that's relationship shit. If you telling her she
hey, 40.
That's relationship shit.
40.
Okay.
Did I not say we was going to do that list another
time?
Okay,
yeah. I'm sorry. Now, here's the other thing. If you keep on sleeping with women and thinking that you're not being a hoe and calling and saying, can I fuck her? Is it okay to sleep with her the next day after you done slept with this one? That's wrong. If you calling me a cock blocker every other day, you being a hoe. You can't just because you're allergic. I can't stop cock blocking because you need to stop putting your dick in random bras.
Here's the thing. He is not allergic to relationships. Andreas is afraid of what it takes to be in a relationship. And that's a totally different conversation for a different day. And you guys are very way off the track. The reality of the situation is that you have got to be responsible with your penis. And if for no other reason, and I say this in my book, you know, when I talk about men who are cheating on their wives and they're not using protection and all this other shit, and what I say about them is if he doesn't respect his own life enough to cover up his dick, why would you think he give a shit about yours? So think about it like this. If she don't respect her body enough to make you either say, look, no glove, no love, partner, and she just lets you riding up in it like no big deal, what makes you think you're the only one? You not that fucking special. Just like she ain't that fucking special. Neither are you. As much as you would like to think you are. As much as you would like to think you are, you're not. You're not. I hate to be the one to break it to you. See, it's that arrogance, it's that hubris that have motherfuckers testing HIV positive. Because you think you so fucking special. You're not.
Damn, did I just walk into something?
Keep your dipper in the zipper.
I'm just saying, if you gonna pull that motherfucker out, cover it up. Cover it up. It is irresponsible for you to do that to yourself. You have children. Do you want to see your kids watch you waste away? Because you got HIV. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody die from AIDS-related complications. But do you want if you haven't, you might want to go and visit an AIDS ward.
Is not let's kick slaps ass, is it? I mean, because that's
no. Okay, I'm gonna get off of you. But I'm just merely using you as an example. But since we got on the nerve, and we dancing on it, I'm gonna move it off of you. I'm just gonna say in general, men and women, not just Andreas in general, but it's the point of doing these irresponsible things and not thinking that it's ever going to come back to you. That it's never ever gonna you'll never have to pay the toll for the shit that you
care about your penis.
I don't give a shit about his penis. I give a shit about him.
Well, yeah, we care about
you. Love me, KK?
No, I don't. I just don't
care about you.
Anyway, before the bullshit starts, I think it might be time for us to do a drink, and then we gonna come back and talk about some of the shit that could happen to Andreas if he ain't careful with his pee parts.
Yeah. While he checking his phone for his next booty call.
Okay, because somebody over there vibrating like a mofo, and if they don't get that shit under control, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be some smoke in the city.
It ain't me.
It's not me.
I'm just saying. Get it under control, it's going to be some smoke in the city. Let me go ahead and start this YouTube. Let me start this Periscope stream, y'all.
Let us start.
Can you see me? Can you see me?
I see you, girl. I see you.
All right. So, I know I got a lot of headspace for me here on Periscope, but that's okay. It's going to be what it is. The reality of the situation is that we're talking about sexual responsibility. Actually, we're talking about sex is a weapon and how you need to protect yourselves at all times and how it can be a matter of life and death. What's up, President? It could be a matter of life and death if you don't take your penis in your own hands and protect it. So right now is that time of the show where we do our producer drink of the week. And she always comes up with something. Cousin Chan always does. I don't know how she does it. I don't really care, but you guys enjoy it just the same. So I'm going to go ahead and let her tell you guys about it. I'm going to pull down the camera so y'all can see what this drink of the week looks like, because it looks rather yummo. Cousin Chan, can you tell us about the drink of the week, please, Mamita?
Hey, guys. And 3.5 ounces of pineapple. And what we're going to do is vodka, peach shake and strain into a hot glass and then all right.
Woo! All right, that was our drink of the week. Thank you guys on Periscope that are watching us right now. We are talking about our drink of the week. Our show topic tonight is sex is a weapon. Protect yourselves at all times. And we have given Andreas, our male counterpart here on the show, for those of you guys who are watching us on Periscope, I'm going to show y'all. That's Andreas right there, everybody. You need my tea? Thank you. And that's Andreas. We've been holding his feet to the fire, y'all, so to speak. We've been giving him the business about wrapping up and making sure that he is taking care of his little friend. So if you guys on Periscope want to be a part of our conversation, you can go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate. You can click the link and watch us streaming live on YouTube, and you can be in our interactive chat room. You can give us a call at 347-237-5271. Don't forget to press 1 so that we know you're in the queue and you have something you would like to share with us. You can also send us a tweet at PDA_Miss KiKi. That's PDA_Miss KiKi. And we'll make sure that we get your comments on air. So I'm going to bid adieu to you guys right here on Periscope. We'll be back in about an hour to do our Ask PDA letter, but we want you to come join us on YouTube, on Blog Talk Radio, on Facebook, on Twitter, all of that, so that we can be a part of the conversation. Chan, I didn't see Ron's question. If you could repost it for me so I can get his question answered here live on air, I'll be more than happy to do that. So again, go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate. Click the link, watch us live on YouTube, and get in our interactive chat room. We'll make sure that we make you part of the conversation. What's up, QDog7? All right, guys, see you guys on Periscope. I'm going back to my show. All right. So, since we've raked Andreas over the coals repeatedly.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
You don't mind?
I don't mind.
Yeah, sure. That's what you say now. Wait till we get into our production meeting. He gonna be like, why y'all just put me out? Y'all just threw me under the bus. I'm divorcing y'all. You know how you always
y'all
fight
love
divorce.
Me. Y'all love me.
No, that is not the lesson I want you to get for today. That was not the takeaway I wanted you to get. It's not that we love you, okay? All right. All right. We were just using you as an example of how irresponsible people can be. And so in terms of talking about that irresponsibility, there are a lot of things that people, we talk about the least of your concerns. You know, you have herpes, you have HIV, you got gonorrhea, you have hepatitis, you got HPV, you got syphilis, who's making a comeback. You got damn, it's so many. It's so many damn things that you have to be concerned with these days that I don't think that people actually really think about it. And since there's no big media push about stuff, people don't think it's a big deal. If you think about the rise in cases, I remember when we were growing up, VD was everywhere, right? Every health class, there was pictures. They were showing you all kinds of stuff in every health book. And, there was everything about how you don't want to get VD. Like, that's the end of your life if you get VD. Like, you're not going to die, but you're going to be, may as well wear the scarlet letter, right? But, and then when AIDS became first came on the scene and it was killing everybody, there was this big media push about it. But since that has died down, a lot of people don't think it's a big deal anymore. And as a result, our younger people are contracting all kinds of diseases, not just HIV, contacting diseases at an alarming rate because it's not in their face about what they need to be doing in terms of protecting themselves. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so it
kind of. What else?
Go ahead.
No, and what really bothers me so much, and what I see so much these days, is that, especially among our youth, is that they don't really have a lot of resources that they pay attention to. About how alarming it is for them to get these diseases and how they're contracted. The resources for them are there, and how they're preventable and how many of them are curable, but they just don't see how they can get them. Back in the day, we used to have the, here's the little red schoolhouse where, we could go and people would, go and get their little help and shots or whatever it is that they would do. Luckily for me, I was taught I only have one to be protected from. Don't get messed up. Don't get it hurt. I've never had to deal with any, STDs or contracting any illnesses. I've never had any of them, and I'm happy to say that. I'm proud of it. I still only have one, and I keep it safe. People joke with me about me saying you got to have your get out and fuck free card before you touch me. I mean that. You know what I'm saying? I can't go and replace my vagina. I can't go get a new one. I can't go do anything with that. If it gets messed up or damaged or infected, that's it. It's damaged goods, period. And I don't play with that, But people really need to be educated and take care of what they have, because you can't get a new one.
Right. Right. This is, let me just give y'all a statistic.
Need to know it, man.
Let me give you a statistic here. The proportion of new infections just in STDs in general in the United States between the ages of 15 and 24 is 50%.
Girl, shut up.
50%. So,
between 15 years old and 24?
Yes. Andreas, you have a daughter and you have two sons that fit in that age range.
I do.
So,
what do you think about that?
Who's asking me the question right now? You or KiKi? I just like to know.
It don't matter.
It seems like I'm getting my ass whooped.
No, I mean, I'm serious.
Okay, well,
man.
My sons, they tell me that they use protection. And my daughter says her boyfriend uses protection, and she's also on the pill. I mean, all I can do is ask them. All I can do is talk to them about it. I mean, what else can I do? Honestly.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not picking on you in terms of that. I was just saying, does
No.
that startle you as a parent? How does that as a parent make you feel like, oh my goodness, my kids are out here and,
Well,
50%. So,
that's why we have those conversations. I have the hard conversations when it comes to my children.
okay.
I ask them, even with Cody's 16, I ask him, hey, man, you wearing your condoms? Yeah, Dad, I'm wearing them. I'm always wearing them. My man.
Mhm. All right.
What can you
Well,
do?
okay. Just think about this. The 8 most common STDs in the United States is chlamydia, gonorrhea, hepatitis B virus, genital herpes and HIV, HPV, syphilis, and trichomoniasis, right? About 50.5%, well, I should say 50.5 million of those current infections are in men, but 59.5 of them are in women.
Mm.
So
Okay.
y'all are passing it to us in alarming rates. It is disproportionate in the sense that it's 9.5 million more women that are infected with these things. And it may be because of the HPV issue, but still, you know what I mean? So, like I said, 50% of those are in young people between the ages of 15 and 24. And that group only represents about a quarter of people who have sex.
Mhm.
But
That is. Go ahead,
no,
Sporty.
what I was also going to say is, in looking at your stats, I also noticed that a lot of that is transmitted with people who don't even show symptoms. They don't
Well,
even
yeah,
show
you
that they
don't have to
have
be.
the symptoms in it.
Yeah, you don't have to be symptomatic in order to pass along a disease or an infection or anything like that. I mean, think about it like this: if a mother can pass along an STD to her child, her unborn child,
Mm-hmm.
through childbirth, then that child, how would that child have known, right? Or
True,
how
true.
would, or how about this? She's not showing any symptoms, so her physician didn't even catch it.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
That's something that's really important that I think people really need to pay attention. There are a lot of sexually transmitted diseases that women do not appear symptomatic, right? And let's use syphilis, for example. I joked about it a couple years ago when Mr. Marcus, got into his little his little syphilis scandal or whatever. And I'm like, when the fuck did syphilis make a comeback, right? We, being from Chicago,
Right.
we know Al Capone died from syphilis, whatever. We like, when did fuck the syphilis make a comeback? Like, I don't understand
Right.
that, right? Especially since it's preventable and it's treatable, right? It's not something that you have to live with the rest of your life, right? But what I found
Mm-hmm.
is in our research, and of course, you guys, I'm a sexpert and everything, is that there's congenital syphilis is on the rise. And for those of you guys who don't know what congenital syphilis is, it's congenital. That means with born with, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
root of that word, born with syphilis. So that means that a mother was infected with syphilis and she passed that infection during pregnancy onto her child, right? Now, it's insanity to me that there was a decline from 2008 to 2012 from congenital syphilis, but in 2014, the number of cases has been the highest that it's been since 2001.
Wow.
What the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? It's like, and
Unbelievable.
even if your baby, think about it like this, even if your baby is born with syphilis, they may not even right away show symptoms.
It
Can you
just lies
imagine?
dormant. Mm-mm.
Yes, it lies dormant in the child. Now, if you have congenital syphilis and you pass it on to your baby, well, having it, first of all, let's just say you make it to the point to have a baby, right? But having congenital syphilis can cause you to have miscarry. It can cause you to have a stillborn baby, or your baby can die shortly after death, right? 40% of babies that are born to women with untreated syphilis will more than likely be stillborn or die as a newborn. Those that do
That
survive,
is so heartbreaking.
but those are the ones that do survive can have deformed bones, severe anemia, enlarged livers and spleens, and jaundice, and they can have nerve problems. They can be blind or deaf. They can have meningitis. They can be prone to skin rashes and things of that nature, all because mommy was not doing what she needed to have done in terms of protecting her body, and then never got tested because, or got a panel done because she was not symptomatic, right? And, you know, again, because we don't always show outward signs, meaning women, a doctor can miss it, because not a lot of people tell the truth when they go.
You said something. I'm sorry. You said something so key. You said something so key right there. I was talking with a friend, and it happened in 2 instances. Years ago, I think I had to be maybe around in my early 20s. When I was living in New York, I had these friends, Eric and Steve. They were a gay couple. And you know, Steve, you know, we were working together, and the Jewish couple, and I had gotten sick, and I had meningitis. You know, I had got it from being at the hospital or something with somebody, and I didn't know why I was sick. I was throwing up or whatever, you know, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? And so we found out that it was a viral meningitis or whatever. So I was really, really sick. And then Steve had gotten sick, you know. So we thought it was just him getting sick from me being sick, and he, you know, got meningitis from me. So my boyfriend at the time, he didn't get sick, but he was with me, you know, through the whole process. So we're at the, his family had owned this big synagogue, mosque or whatever. And so anyway, he got sick. We were both at the hospital. And, you know, they ran this, you said panel, you know, a panel of tests or whatever. So they ran a panel of tests on me to find out what was wrong with me, and they found out it was me for meningitis. They ran a panel of tests on him, and they asked about his partner. They said, well, who's your partner? They ran the test for HIV and AIDS on him. They didn't run that panel. They ran the panel on me anyway, because we wound up, you know, he was my friend, but I had a heterosexual partner. He wound up being tested and had AIDS. You know, I had
AIDS, or was he HIV?
He had AIDS.
He had full-blown AIDS.
He had full-blown AIDS. Because he had never had a panel to be tested for HIV. So even though he had been to the doctor or whatever, he had never been tested for the panel for HIV. If you're not tested and the doctors never test you for certain things, they miss it. And people had, back then, they never knew the difference between HIV and AIDS. They always assumed it was the same thing. So when you said the key thing about panel, that's what triggered it for me about, you know, being tested for certain things. So, you know, that was the very first time I had ever been tested for HIV. You know what I'm saying? Because people were always thinking, well, you're around those people, so let's get you tested anyway. You know what I'm saying? So First time I was tested for HIV was for insurance.
I was getting insurance, and they was like, we need to, you know, have you tested for, you know, a bunch of stuff, so we're gonna send, you know, you need to go see a doctor and tell them you need, you know, these panel of tests done. So they test from everything from diabetes to HIV, you know what I mean? From A to Z, literally, right? And so that was back in the day when you had to wait 7 whole days for that mofo to come back. So that was the worst 7 days of your life and everybody in your life.
Yes. Oh my God.
You know, you guys, you were saying earlier that syphilis was easily curable. There's a type of syphilis out there that there is no cure for. When we were explaining this, and I did my first tour in Korea. I only did one on the DMZ. It was for 3 months. And they told us that to be careful because they have this strain of syphilis. It's called black syphilis. Mm-hmm. And if you get black syphilis, you're not coming back over here. You can't come back over here. It can't be cured. You get a one-way ticket on one of 2 boats called Hope. And when you die, they incinerate you. You can't come back here. So not all syphilis is...
come back here is into
America. You can't come back to the United States. If you are in the armed services and you is it contract? Okay. If you contract black syphilis, you go on one of 2 boats called Hope, and you sail around the Atlantic while your body parts fall off, and when you finally die, they incinerate you and dump you over the side of the boat. You never come back over here. So, damn. Yeah, you get a one-way trip on a boat called Hope, baby. So, yeah, not all of them is curable. So, yeah. So, since you were talking about syphilis, that crossed my mind.
Glad you came home.
I'm looking that up. Can you look that up on Snopes for me, please, Sporty?
The black syphilis?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Okay, but yeah, in terms, since you brought it back around to syphilis, there are 4 different phases of syphilis, and a lot of people don't realize that, and that's primary, secondary, latent, and tertiary. And in the primary and secondary phases are when you are infectious, when you can actually pass it on to other people, right? And each stage has its own set of symptoms, but the primary symptoms for syphilis in men could be a very small but firm, painless sore where the bacteria had entered the body, and it's usually on the penis, the anus, or the lips. Swollen lymph nodes near the sore area. So if you're noticing stuff like that, you know, the interesting thing about syphilis is that syphilis is what they call the great imitator. And the reason why they call it that is because it mimics, the symptoms of it can mimic so many other things that right away realize that they actually have contracted syphilis. So again, you know, it could go as far as, you know, you going blind, having a stroke, all kinds of things bad things can happen. But, you know, you want to make sure that you are getting depending on the type of you know, syphilis or what stage you're in, that you're getting tested and making sure that you are getting the help that you need, so you aren't passing it along to somebody, or you're not having these problems throughout the rest of your life. They were saying that in 2014 there was a increase in a lot of the STDs, like approximately like 1.4 million cases of chlamydia was reported I should say 1.4 million cases of chlamydia was the highest number ever reported to the CDC, right? So it was like, they said syphilis went up to like almost 20,000 a year. Gonorrhea was at almost 351,000 in 2014. And syphilis, congenital syphilis, was at 458. Right? So can you imagine, in just 2014 alone, last year, 20,000 cases reported of primary and secondary syphilis. That's reported. That had nothing to do with somebody that's in the latent stage or somebody that's in the tertiary stage. Right?
I found it.
You found what?
I found what you told me to look up.
What'd you find?
It says a pseudo STD, probable origin East Asia. The malignant virus manifests of many symptoms as standard syphilis, but with an alarming speed and terminality. There is no known treatment or cure for black syphilis. The phase of disease results in the infected decay of one's genitals and men will supposedly cause the penis to eventually rot off, and first circulating among U.S. military personnel. And the myth says that they are not allowed to return home. They are known.
And where are you looking from this?
It's where is this? Something called Unexplained Mysteries. The Black Sith is what it's called. It's particularly Vietnamese. It's an extreme form of syphilis known as the Black Sith. It's incurable, sent to an island, not allowed to return home.
Yeah, I'm looking at that, and there's because of what you're saying, you keep saying the word myth.
Yeah, it's saying it's myth, but then there's also some people saying it's not a myth.
Okay, we need to do some little bit more research on it, because like I said, I had heard of that before, but again, I had heard of it in terms of it being an urban legend, a myth, not something that was actually proven to be what it is. So if you could just do a little bit more background on that, we'd greatly appreciate that. But in the meantime, we can still move on and talk about the other stuff.
Yes.
You want to make sure that
there's one I'd like to cover.
Okay.
I think we should discuss the disease herpes.
Which one?
And
which version of it?
Girl, I would like to discuss the one. Let's discuss the one that's more prevalent to the world that people like to not talk about. You know, the one genital herpes.
Okay.
Because 1 in 3 people have it. That's one that can be spread when no symptoms are present, and 80% of people that are infected don't realize they have it. That's another one where if people don't have that panel of testing, they don't know that it exists in their body, and they don't like to tell people that they have it when they do have the test, that it exists in their body.
So you said to me that somebody don't notice that they have like genital warts or anything?
Yes, there are people that they don't know that they say they don't know that they have it, and they don't like to go find out what's going on with their body. They think it's just a sore or a bruise or whatever the case may be going on with their self. And
did you say they self? Did you say they self?
That's what that said. They self. That's when I get irritated.
Girl, don't you say no they self.
They self, girl. They self. You know, and then they be like, well, I can't tell so and so, and then they talk about I had an outbreak. I'm like, an outbreak of what? You know, and then it's like, oh, I just had a little infection, and I'm like, well, what? You know, go to the doctor. I've seen too many people talk about this issue, and they don't tell their partners about it.
They don't tell their partner.
Too many people.
They don't tell their partner.
They don't tell their partner.
They don't tell their partner.
D-E-Y. They don't.
All right. Well, not to get lost in the minutia of your bad grammar, but
girl, they do not have conversations. They do not have committed conversations about their sexually transmitted diseases that they are continuously passing on to other human beings.
Stop. When you said when you get
girl.
No. Stop. How many out of how many people have genital herpes? What did you say?
80%.
No. You said 80%.
One out of every 3. 80%
don't
realize they're infected.
Wait, stop, please. Just stop, because I'm trying to clarify something. You keep saying stuff. So you're saying that 1 out of 3 people have the infection, but of those 1 of the 3, 80% of those don't disclose to their partners. Is that what you were just saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I know you're trying to get your point across, and I know that it's important to you, but I want to make sure that everybody is getting what you're saying, because you're just running on with the information.
Yeah.
That's all. Okay. Ma'am is my mama. She ain't here. So,
yes.
All right, so there's herpes simplex virus 1, and then there's the herpes simplex virus 2. And um, actually, the most recent statistic that I've read, though, is even higher than the 80%. It was 87.4%. So it's high. That's high. That's almost high. 90%. That's almost 90%. Right? But people, I don't know how, knowing what genital herpes is all about, I don't know how somebody can have what they call an ulcer, a genital ulcer, right? And not know something is going on, right? But in some cases, either 1 and 2, simplex 1 and 2, can cause complications like blindness, encephalitis, meningitis. It's just crazy. It can even spread to other lesions in the buttocks, the groin, your thighs, your fingers, or your eyes. Not to mention, of course, if it's 1, your mouth. How can you miss that?
Ew.
That's so nasty. I mean, you just said just warts in the ass and mouth. That's just nasty. You've got to know that you have.
That's
something.
why I don't
There's
want
no
people
way
kissing me.
That you can't know that you have herpes. There's no way, I don't think. So.
I was told the Nile was a river in Egypt, but clearly it's more than that. But again, people go.
Chanzilla.
I think our producer has something she wants to say.
I was gonna place in defense some people. Not saying that this has ever happened to me. Let me put that disclaimer out there. But especially in cases like athletes sometimes, because they have, how can I say? A lot of times when they have sweat pockets, or maybe they wore the wrong underwear, they can mistake something for something else. Does that make sense?
So you saying they mistaken a genital wart for a boil?
Let's say they don't know what a wart is. Let's just say it looks like I done rubbed my thighs together. Well, I'm so Mr. Hebo that my thighs are rubbing together, and I might consider this to maybe just being a burn, or my nuts, rubbing up against me too much. And because I'm an athlete, this may happen. Some people might not recognize that it's an actual wart. They might just think it's something else, and now they have passed on to 17 different people because they didn't recognize this being a wart or a symptom.
Okay, so I'm not really sure what you're defending. What? I'm more inclined to believe that, but we know when something ain't right with our bodies, Chan, for real. We know when something ain't right. Now, again, that's what I'm saying. Whether you're willing to accept it is irrelevant. The fact is that you denied the fact that you have it. It's not that you don't know. That was my original point. You might not know, for example, you might not know right away, oh, that's a genital herpes. No, but something ain't right. I need to get this shit checked out. It ain't, you know what I mean? It ain't supposed to be there. It ain't never been there before. Why is it there now?
Maybe they scared.
That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Ooh,
I'll let you have
y'all
it.
see what's in the chat room, Felicia?
Bye.
Uh-oh. What she say? They don't always show
Felicia say Andres could have it and not even know.
Andres ain't got
shit. She said they don't always show symptoms. It can lay dormant in your body for years. 80% of Americans, 1 in 3. No, I believe it. That's almost everyone. Someone told me it feels like a hair bump, but I don't know. They did say that Andreas could have it, and they not even know.
Where you get out
And
the
not
fuck
even.
free car?
Look here, my man. Look here, my man. I gotta clean.
What you saying, my man? That's a woman.
Felicia is a girl. Where's your get out the fuck free car?
What? Why you on my ass today?
Anyway, let's just move on. Here's some other things that I want people to be aware of, because you guys are way down a rabbit hole that I don't even want to go down, let alone continue on. Let me bring this up. There are 25 cities that they did a study, and they said the 25 U.S. cities with the highest rates of HIV infection.
Ooh.
Y'all interested in knowing what those 25
I'm interested.
are? Okay.
I am.
Do tell,
Y'all want me to
boss
go?
lady.
Y'all want me to go from 25 to 1 or 1 to 25? I'm gonna go
from
25 to 1.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
from 25 to 1.
I'm gonna go from the lowest number to the highest number. Richmond, VA is at 25. So go ahead and post that in the chat. Richmond, VA is 25. 24 is Philadelphia, and that includes New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland suburbs. Virginia Beach.
You're going too fast. You're going too fast.
Man, this is a show. You got to talk. Well, you got to type faster. 23 is Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Newport News, all of that area. 22, Charleston, North Charleston, South Carolina. Did she say fuck it?
Yeah.
Then 21. I don't understand why. You don't have to type the whole word out. I mean, I don't understand why.
My computer's being difficult. Just go ahead, honey.
Okay.
She has sticking buttons.
All right. So 21 is San Francisco. 20 is Greensboro and High Point, North Carolina. 19, LA. 18, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida. 17, Birmingham and Hoover, Alabama. 16, Dallas. Felicia. 17, Columbia, South Carolina. 14, Charlotte, Gastonia, and Concord, North and South Carolina. Felicia got you, girl. She putting them in there.
I see her. Thank you.
13,
Felicia.
San Juan, Coagas, so Puerto Rico. 12, Houston, Sugarland. So Sugarland is real fancy. I was like, Sugarland is fancy pants territory.
Okay.
Orlando is number 11. Now we're going to the top 10, y'all.
Top 10.
Top 10.
Okay.
Top 10. Jacksonville, Florida is at 10. Coming in at number 9 is NYC.
Really?
HN. Number 8, Atlanta.
There, right?
Sandy Springs, Marietta.
What?
Yeah. Number 7, Memphis. And they were saying this also includes some of the little Mississippi and Arkansas suburbs that are around there. Number 6, Baltimore and Townsend, Maryland. Number 5, top 5 cities. This is the top 5 cities with the highest rates of HIV infection. Number 5 is Washington, D.C. Number 4, Jackson, Mississippi.
Damn.
Number 3, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Damn.
Really?
Number 2, and it's New Orleans, Metairie, and Kenner, Louisiana. And number 1 city with the highest rate of HIV infection is Miami.
Boom. We ain't even make the list.
Shit, y'all listen, that's just too much. Then y'all killing each other with gun violence. They don't need to be killing each other with your other guns. Speaking of other guns, did anybody ever notice that bullets were phallic shaped?
Yes, they are. I've never noticed that. That looked like a dick.
Hit me with your best shot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not by accident when I say shit like sex is a weapon, right?
It is. It is.
It is not by accident that I say the things that I say. But yes, okay, your top 5 is D.C., Jackson, Mississippi, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Metairie, Kenner, and Miami. So New Orleans area, New Orleans, Metairie, Kenner, and then Baton Rouge taking up 3 or 4. What the hell they doing down there in Louisiana?
Baton Rouge is so small, man. It's like the size of Hyde Park.
Fuck are they doing? Fuck are they doing down there?
Fucking. Literally. What the fuck
Man, I
are they
can't.
doing?
I'm not surprised about Miami, though. I really am not.
No, I'm not surprised about Miami. I thought LA would be higher on the list, though.
I did, too. I thought Atlanta would be number 1.
Wow. Gee, thanks.
Walking around with high heels on.
Well, no. I mean,
yeah, I was thinking,
you know.
I would think LA was higher and New York was higher. And, yeah, I was.
Too.
But here's the interesting thing, though. And this is going to take us a little bit down the rabbit hole, but I just want y'all to take a look at this. If you listen to the list of cities that I gave y'all, and of course they do these by per capita, which is fine, but I want you to think about all of you conservative red state mofos who have all these ideas about family values and all this other shit in the South. Most of these cities were in the South.
Yep.
So, while y'all Bible thumping and beating people over the head, talking about, the Bible and this and that, and you're not living right, blah, 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 guess who is getting it the most? I mean, I done seen so many North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Alabama, Texas, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida. I mean, it's just, they just overtook the damn thing, right?
They did. You are correct.
Just took it over.
That's right.
Let's talk about some other
stuff. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. Let's talk about. Go ahead.
No. So I want to talk about. I cracked up when I noticed you had in our assignment our opinions on birth control. Can we touch on that?
Oh, I thought you would have touched on that earlier, but yeah, go ahead, by all means.
Yeah. So I laughed when I wrote my first answer to that because you wanted 3. No, it has nothing to do with me being a freak because you're reading what my assignment says.
So you're admitting you're a freak.
That has
okay, stop, Andreas.
But I put on there swallowing should be an option. And I really meant that. I was not even being funny because, when I look at some of the products that come out of people that should not be allowed to give birth, they should know the art of swallowing. Because some people who want to have children, KiKi, can't. And some people that do shouldn't.
Let me say this. Here's the thing about swallowing. If you're protecting yourself or whatever, you should be, according to the protection standard, you're wearing a condom while you're giving head anyway. So swallowing wouldn't be an option, right? I'm just asking.
Well, if you got your get out and fuck free card, then you should be safe.
Okay, so you're saying, providing that everybody is clean and they've gotten their get out and fuck free card, and they've done what Mary Jane Paul has done with her, that pissed Andreas off, then
that's a lot to go through.
Should be an option.
Yes.
I think it's worth it. It's worth it.
I think it's worth it too.
Because think about what you got to go through if you get some that's tainted.
Exactly.
Walgreens, you can buy it in the box. You didn't need to do. I mean, that was overkill. I mean, that was. You don't think that was overkill?
I do not.
That was overkill.
I need to know what. Okay, what is overkill?
She pricked his finger. She swabbed the mouth. What did she measure his dick as well?
Now you're being extreme. If you're going to listen to me, you're being extreme. If you're going to make sure that you are protected from somebody, I can honestly say I have had one penis for the past year, period. I know that penis is clean. I know that it's safe. I know that I don't have to worry about if there's anything wrong with it.
How do you know what he's doing out there?
All I can say, I don't know. But I know that I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. I know that everything that I'm supposed to do.
While you're yelling at him?
Nigga.
First of all, why are you so angry? I'm not understanding why you're so angry.
Because
he took his on the he took his on the chin when we was giving him the business, but he questioned you and say a couple things, and now you done just went ham. Why can't you take it on the chin too? Take your hand down because you're blocking his face. And look into the camera. Look at me. Thank you. Why you so sensitive? I don't understand. Help me understand.
Because how can you not understand? How can you say that that's being extreme? How can you say that's being extreme to make sure that the penis is secure?
Maybe he's saying it's extreme for him. It's not something that he would have chosen. He would have been comfortable with just one. I understand the rationale, but you have to understand the people that we're talking about. If you understand the personalities of people, some people won't take one pregnancy test. They're going to take a couple different brands because you have false positives. People go to the doctor and get false positive or false negatives for AIDS tests all the time, for HIV tests all the time. So why not just try 3 different ones, right?
Well, yeah, I would take 3 or 4 pregnancy tests. I would do that.
You see what I'm saying, Andreas? So when you're saying it being extreme, not necessarily so. You want to make sure that you've done everything that you can do. You've done your due diligence. If you were getting into a business, here's the thing, people put more time, energy, and effort into vetting people for president, to work, to be their business partner, and all this other stuff than they do with people that they lay down in bed with and put their lives in their hands. Than they actually do with people that they marry. And I find that very disheartening that if you've done more research on fucking jobs that you were looking for than you have on some of these bitches that you lay down with.
Well, how did he come back to me?
When I say you, I wasn't talking about you, Andreas. I'm saying you, meaning like you, men, or whatever. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But
she don't mean you personally.
Right, I'm just saying that in general, people put more, they do due diligence on all the stuff that, you should check out people that you're going to get into business with and all of that other stuff. Absolutely. But should you not also check out the person that you're going to run up in?
Granted. I get it.
Or going to put their mouth on you?
I get it.
Right. I'm just not playing Russian roulette with my vagina.
And that's fine. And stop rolling your eyes at him.
Thank you, KiKi.
And don't roll your damn eyes at me, especially when you're looking off somewhere into the distance. God damn it. Anyway. Andreas.
Yes.
Wait, Sporty, you have one more because you already talked about the orthonovel babies. You got one more about birth control, and then Andreas, give me your birth control comments, and then we can move on to our Ask PDA letter, and then we can wrap up our conversation.
Oh, I did have one more. I thought more options for men should be made available, like a pill for them or IUDs for them, penis pelvic exams, and I was serious. I think they should have more options for them other than just condoms.
It's
have
interesting.
An IUD for a man.
What's interesting is that you and number 3 said the same thing in terms of, the way that they market birth control is that it's all on the woman. And that it's unfair that men don't have to bear the responsibility of that. But I think a lot of that is part and parcel to the fact that we're the ones that actually carry children. So you would have to be the guardian of you need to be the gatekeeper, so to speak. So if you need to be the one to put the security, the security mechanisms in place if you don't want anybody, trouncing the gates.
Right.
But just quickly, something for you to think about. They have now started with some male birth control. And I'll talk about it after Andreas talks about his. Go ahead, Andreas.
Birth control. I myself, I've had a vasectomy. I had a vasectomy a very long time ago. I mean, condoms are really important. They don't. They're not 100% effective though. Is there anything that's 100% effective? That was a question that was safe, lady. What dog eared that one? When I realized.
Wait. You said, is there anything that's 100% effective? Yeah, not fucking.
Is there anything that's? Well, you know what I mean. We already know that. Not fucking is 100% effective in every case. Okay. When I realized that my daughter was having sex, we had these I even had this conversation with a guy. I asked him, I said, "Look, man, you guys protecting yourselves." And I talked to them both about it. It is condoms important. I'll stop there because I can go on forever. Condoms important. Or abstinence, and
Okay.
I just ain't no damn fun.
So vasectomy and condoms.
I've had a vasectomy. I mean, no childbirth on my end. Condoms are the most important. They really are. I have a thing against oral sex and having a condom on. I think, what's the fucking point? What's the point?
The same point as running your dick up in some vagina raw. Your mouth, orifice. Think of let me stop you right there. The mouth is the dirtiest thing on your body. But you willing to put your dick in that dirty hole unprotected. But you gonna cover it up to put it in it's the PSs. I'm just trying to understand the rationale here. Help me understand.
I have a really bad cough.
It doesn't make sense when you think about it like that, huh?
It made sense. Stop rolling your eyes at me.
They also have this other one called Vasogel or something for men, and it's a gel that they inject near the vas deferens, and it's So it's in terms of it's the less permanent solution or the less extreme solution for what you got, the vasectomy.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay.
It's a temporary.
Yeah.
And they inject it in the hip or into the penis?
It's like
into the vas deferens.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Now, another thing, too, though, that you guys, could be mindful of is that Chan was talking about it, and I know she was, I told y'all she was BWI, BUI, however y'all want to put it. But she was talking about how they have now, they're working on the uterus implant for men, so y'all can carry the babies.
Oh, hell no. That would never.
Oh, it ain't
happen.
It's all fun and games till it hits your demographic, huh?
Yep, it is. Yep.
But here's the thing, though. But here's the thing. You still get off easy, though, Andreas. Let me tell you why.
But we're men.
Stop. You still get off easy because you guys are simps and y'all can't handle it. But you still even get off easy in this case. If you get the utero transplant where you can now carry the baby, you still don't get the hormonal issues. You still don't get all the other shit that we get when we're pregnant. You ain't got to worry about your boobs and all. You don't have none of the other stuff that comes along with it. So all you are you basically are is a walking fucking test tube, an incubator, an oven.
God don't want that.
Oh, so now we talk about God, but now you want to bring God into this?
God don't.
Is that what you're gonna do? Is that what you're gonna do? That's your final answer.
Final answer. God don't want it.
Louis.
That's your final answer.
Louis didn't got in the video, and he said they got gonorrhea of the throat, dude. He talking to Andreas.
So everybody want to get my ass today.
Well, because they want you to be responsible, Andreas. They want you to stop thinking back to 1971, acting like that, because that's the mentality that people had back then. It's way too much other new improved shit that's going on out here that you can't.
I have condoms in my drawer.
Condoms are not. Why are you talking about condoms like they stop everything? Like condoms is the end all be all of everything.
So you're saying Andreas is abstain?
No, what we're saying is Andreas. No, we're saying Andreas, and not just you, but the representative that Andreas is represent. I should say the people that Andreas represents, right?
Okay.
You know, okay, the people that Andreas represents. What we're saying is you may want to exercise a little bit more discretion on who you're choosing to do, because again, we know that condoms are not 100%. So anytime you lay down with somebody, you are having sex with them. Again, we talk about pregnancy being the least of your concerns, but you're having sex with everybody they done had sex with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
but it's a crapshoot any darn way.
It really is. But how about this? Well, if you're gambling, you can only lose if you're playing, right?
That's very true.
So are you willing to put your dick on the crap table?
No.
Every night, all the time? I'm just saying, again, I'm not just pointing the finger at you. I am saying, oh, we got somebody in our chat room talking about HIV is a hoax. Okay.
HIV is a what?
A hoax.
What the hell?
Good. A hoax? Yeah. You know, it takes all kinds for the world to go around, baby. You can believe whatever you want to believe. So just go on ahead and have sex with whomever you want, unprotected, otherwise, and let us know what happens to your dick. Because, I mean, again, even if HIV, let's just say, according to this person, let's just see if HIV is a hoax. He said AZT killed it. Well, it had to be something in order to kill it, so it's not a hoax. That doesn't make any sense.
Man-made.
Oh, well, whether it's synthetic or not, my point is that even if it ain't, there's still so many other things that are out here that'll kill you, or that will get you in a trick bag, or, you know, have you messed up. We've already talked about all of those things. So to just say, you know, something like, you know, HIV is a hoax, okay, all right. If that's your mentality, roll with it.
I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole or show to talk about the things that were created to, you know, in my own personal opinion or point of view, to kill off the population, to create something, to make money, or whatever the case may be, that they have cures for that they're not ready to produce. Hell, if that's the case, gonorrhea was incurable in the beginning, so was syphilis, so was any of these other diseases, fucking chicken pox, fucking mumps, measles, all of it for that matter, until they were ready to give you the cure for it that they're miraculously have for any of it. But it's not a hoax, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they got something for it. There are people living with it, you know, and yeah, we have respect for what you're saying, but for you to just come out with it, you know, to say it like that doesn't mean that you know, there are ways to communicate things, but it's not a hoax to people who have it and they don't have a way to handle it.
Sporty. You don't tell him how to talk and how to communicate. He can communicate any way he wants to.
Yeah,
just because you don't like it does not make it. So what? So what? You don't like what he says. You don't tell him how to speak, right? So again,
right.
He's saying that, you know, AZT, you know, kills everybody who takes it. And I'm like, AZT is not the only drug cocktail that is used to treat the symptoms. Furthermore, anything you take can kill you. Hell, the air we breathe will fucking kill people every day. The toxins in the water, you know, everything is possible to kill you. Again, if you're an enthusiast of the conspiracy, then fine. By all means, I don't discredit what you're saying. My thought is to you and anyone who thinks like that is, okay, let me know how that works out for you and yours. That's all I say.
I'm not saying she's wrong. I'm not saying he or she is wrong. I wasn't saying that, you know. And I don't disagree that there's something to what they're saying, you know, but that's a whole other issue. We're not discussing whether it's right or wrong that they have you know, a cure for these things. You know, it's not a hoax, in my opinion, just like it's their opinion that it is a hoax, but it's not a hoax in my opinion.
He says,
you know,
I know how crazy. Hang on, Sporty.
Okay, fine.
What's rule number 6? What is rule number 6?
Fine.
When I'm talking, you shouldn't be. Okay, no. When I'm talking, you shouldn't. Shush. Zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket. He says, I know how crazy it sounds. Give me a chance to explain myself. He said, this is the response I usually get, but at first, but if you take the time, you'll see I know my business. I'm asking him, go ahead, call in, explain yourself all you want. The reality is, just as you have the right to your belief, Sporty has the right to her belief, Andreas has the right to his belief, and so do I. The reality is we're not here to convince anybody of anything, whether there's a such thing as HIV or herpes or syphilis. We're not saying, yes, it didn't do this and blah, blah, blah. That's not the purpose of the conversation. The conversation is about you need to be responsible in your actions. You want to talk about us being intentionally killed? We're being intentionally killed in everything, dear heart. It's not anything new under the sun. Nothing. Open your eyes and enjoy the show. Get your friend. Andreas. All right. Again, he said, I don't carry a belief, just the facts. Again, everybody can always find a point to an argument to substantiate their belief, their claim. Regardless. I can find you other things that would say different. Does it make what I say more true than what you say? No, it just is what it is. We respectfully agree to disagree. Anyway, back on topic. It is time for our Ask PDA letter. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and get started on this. It's time for our Ask PDA letter. Let's see here. All right, so it is time for our Ask PDA letter segment, guys, and I am so excited. What's up, family? First one. We are broadcasting live on my show, Playing Devil's Advocate, right now, and we are streaming live via YouTube, and we're also on Blog Talk Radio. But every week we have the part of the show, What's Kevin P for Real? Every week we have a letter that is sitting in to us by a listener, and they want to get our opinion on what we think about some of the situations that are going on in their lives. And so what I'm going to do is to do our, I'm going to read the letter so that you guys can, what's up, Eric Cohenton? Thank you for joining. Appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and get this letter set up and ready to go so I can read it for you guys. And you guys, I want to hear you guys on Periscope. I want to hear what your thoughts are for this letter, as well as I will go to my panel to see if they have an opposing view or if they want to, you know, add on to something that maybe I may have missed about our letter. So this will be an interesting one, as always it is. So let's go on ahead and get this letter. What's up, Sabrina? Let's get it.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
All right. Today's Ask PDA letter. Today's Ask PDA letter is being brought to you by our producer's drink of the week, and that drink is Whippersnapper. If you haven't had a chance to check out Whippersnapper, you need to go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate and check it out. She comes up with something. It's all blue and fruity and looking all good and stuff, but danger, danger. Be careful. All right, so let me go ahead and read our Ask PDA letter for you guys today. Dear PDA, I recently found out that my husband ended an affair he was having, and we're working toward reconciliation. We have been going to counseling with our pastor, and he suggested I should completely forgive my husband and have faith that our marriage was ordained by God. Since the revelation of his affair, I've not had sex with my husband because I feel like he's tainted. My question to you is, how do I ask my husband to get tested for STDs? All of this is still new and touchy, and I don't want to do anything that might suggest lack of trust or that I haven't forgiven him. Signed, please help. All right, let me start this out. Please help. What's up, Terrence L. Thomas? Let me help you out here. Please help for your husband who, okay, your focus is all messed up. You telling me what your pastor done told you what to do, and you're talking about it's a touchy situation. You don't want to suggest anything that's lack of trust. You have a reason to not trust him. So asking him to have a test for STDs, I don't think is an unreasonable question, right? I don't understand why you're the one who was cheated on and you're tiptoeing around about his fucking feelings. What part of the game is that? I'm just asking. If you're not going to have sex with your husband, you don't think that that might push him now in another direction to cheat, give him another excuse to cheat again? So again, stop being passive aggressive. Stop being a doormat. Say what it is, because it sounds like everybody tells you what to do and you do it. Your pastor tell you that you completely forgive your husband. Really? Why he gonna tell you to completely forgive your husband? Right? To forgive him. Right? He gets a pass. You're supposed to forgive him, but he was an infidel? Really? Come on. And your marriage was ordained by God? Was it? Again, you have every right to ask him to be tested if you are working toward reconciliation, like you said. And you'll never be able to move into forgiveness, into trust, into any of that until your questions and your concerns are addressed. It's not about him. And you've made everything about him. Your husband, the pastor told you to forgive him. You don't want to ask him because you don't want him to think that you haven't forgiven him. Who gives a fuck what he thinks right now? I'm just saying. Again, you said you recently found out that he ended an affair. One, what we don't know is how you found out and how long the affair was going on. Because I will tell you this, and I've said it a million times, how you found out that your husband was cheating on you or your man was cheating on you is directly proportionate about what he thinks of you. So, since you left that part out, we're not going to touch it. But again, I'm just going to say, who gives a rip what he thinks if you don't trust him? He gave you a reason not to. So, I'm going to go to my panel over here, and I'm going to see what they have to say. Let me get the video down so I can turn it around. Sporty.
Yes. Well, I guess what I would have to say about this is you would absolutely have to think for yourself. You know, you have to come to the realization that this is your decision, not your pastor's decision, not the decision of the people around you, and you have to really decide for you what you want. You know, if you need some clarity, you need to find out the information. You need to talk to your husband. You need to make your request and follow through with it. That's the bottom line. That's between you and your husband. It's your marriage. It's not your pastor's marriage. It's not your friend's marriage. That's between you and your husband. Handle your business, period.
Andreas?
Well, I think that the husband would be more than happy to take the test for the STDs if she asked him to. I think that it's best that she asks him to early in the healing process. She has every right to ask him, and I'm pretty sure if he wants to save his marriage, then he'll be more than willing to take those tests. I mean, to make her feel better, if nothing else. So, yeah.
Well, all righty
So
then.
ask.
I hear you, Andreas. Ask the question. I said it then. I say it now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you asking the question. Again, if you're not going to have sex with him until you don't feel like he's tainted anymore, then why not? To those of you guys who are on Periscope, please Put your comments in there. I see all your hearts. Thank you for the hearts. But let us know what you actually think. Should she ask him? I saw Sabrina said it's not an unreasonable request. What are they saying in the chat room? Let's see. If you don't want to sleep with your husband, then the relationship. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to read it. Go ahead.
Oh, they said if you don't want to sleep with your husband, then the relationship is over. Okay, then there's some other stuff in there that I don't, I'm missing. They're still talking about AIDS being a hoax. We have moved on. That is so 10 minutes ago. All right. All right, for those of you guys on Periscope, you can join the rest of our conversation if you go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate and click on the link. You can watch us streaming live on YouTube, and you can get in our chat room and chop it up with Stanley, Roy, and Mr. Grim V, and Wes, and Louie, and Felicia, and everybody. Y'all can just get it. Oh, and our producers in there as well, stirring it up. You can go in there and check it out. You can watch the show, chat with us, whatever. But we have to get off of here right now. So, again, if you have not checked out our Producer's Drink of the Week, which is Whippersnapper, you want to go to facebook.com/playingdevilsadvocate anyway. If you want to send us a tweet, feel free. Send us a tweet at PDA_Miss KiKi. And I'm going to say bye to y'all, but I'm back to y'all right now. All right. So, what I missed?
Well, you didn't miss too much. Well, you did have Louis tweeting us. He says, if the pastor is a man, don't listen to his ass. We have a different take on cheating than women do. If you were cheating, if I was cheating, you would be gone. He would be gone. So, you know, and that's his point of view on that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, again, you know, she sounds like she's been a doormat all the way. You know, a pastor say this, and I don't want to make him think I don't trust him. Who gives a flip if he thinks you trust him or not? He gave you the reason not to trust him.
Not to trust him, right.
It's not like you just going around sniffing his drawers for no damn reason.
Right.
Like,
what was Sage saying?
Sage?
Sniffing his drawers? You were sniffing underwear?
I wasn't. Sage?
No, he was.
You see, she don't even want to be bothered. She's saying, she's like, I'm going to pass. Sage is like, this is so beneath her.
She chilling. She is straight chilling.
Yeah, she chilling. For those of you guys who don't know who Sage is, that's my little, I don't know if she's an angel or a devil. That's my alter ego. She's sitting over there, propped up, chilling.
I want an alter ego doll. I want a family one tomorrow.
See, here's the thing about what people don't understand about the alter ego. You cannot pick out your alter ego. See, that's what the thing is. Everybody was like, oh, that's so cute, because you saw the pictures that we posted up. Everybody wants one. The reality is we found our dolls. Let me tell you the story quickly, and then we'll move back on. What happened with finding our alter egos was that our friend, our people, her husband was like, y'all act like a bunch of brats. That's what he said to us, because we're acting like a bunch of kids, right? It's like we're kids all over again, all of us together in that room. I don't care that we're in our 40s. It's like we were like a bunch of kids all over, and he's sitting there like, he's like, y'all act like a bunch of brats. And so we were like, so whatever, get out of here, boy, stupid boy. Really, pretty much that's how we treat him, right? And so he goes out the room, and he comes back in the room with a big bin full of dolls from their daughter. And he was like, okay, close your eyes, pick one. So everybody picked theirs at random. Nobody saw, and it just happened that the universe saw fit to give us, that we picked dolls that fit us. So you can't just go and pick one. It has to be totally ordained by the universe.
Gotcha.
So anyway, let's move it on. Again, for those of you guys who just may be joining us, tonight's topic is sex is a weapon. Protect yourselves at all times. And we have talked about a whole bunch of stuff. We done put our producer on the hot seat, talking about people abusing abortions. We have raked Andreas over the coals today. I mean, we roasted his cojones today, and we have actually talked about, you know, some of the statistics in terms of, you know, contracting and infections And not just HIV. We have not just talked about HIV. Yes, yesterday was World AIDS Day, and yes, I did tweet out for everybody, there's an app on your app phone where you can find, per your location, the testing sites where you can go get tested. You can always go to your drugstore and you can get the rapid test, and you can have yourself tested and your partner tested as well. I will always suggest to people, even though you do take the rapid test, I do suggest that you go follow up with your healthcare professional in terms of that, so that we are making sure that you did it properly and that you are getting the correct results before, doing like they do on TV and just jumping out there. Someone said, "Oh, you passed," So we do suggest that you follow up with your healthcare professionals with that. Also, I'll have some links that I'll post out on the show a little bit later. On our show page a little bit later, that will help you understand, women who are not symptomatic with syphilis and all of that, how you can be passing on syphilis to your unborn child. Also, did he press one? He's saying he was in there, but nobody would listen. He has to try and call and in.
I'm trying to tell him to wait.
Yeah. No, I don't think that he actually pressed one. So you have to press one so that she knows that you're there. You can't just call the number and start talking. So then also have some links regarding statistics for chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis. Also about the different site maps I have for what states and what demographic breakdowns for these different infection rates. I have that available to you guys, and that'll be on our site as well. And it also will have the list again of all of the highest rates of HIV infection in the United States. Again, this is a world issue. It is a life issue. What we do here on Playing Devil's Advocate is we have the uncomfortable conversation that we should have but don't have often enough. And we also don't talk about necessarily, we talk about human issues. So if it affects humanity, we're going to talk about it. Whether it's relationships, politics, sex, we don't shy away from the uncomfortable conversation. As a matter of fact, we welcome it. We don't shy away from people not having the same thought process or understanding or belief system that we have. We actually welcome that. So if you believe something differently, by all means, you may be able to share with us some information that we did not know. And we may, one of two things can either happen. Is we can understand, we can see where you can coming from, and we be like, you know what, you onto something, or we can say, you know what, we agree to disagree. And that's the best thing that we can all do as human beings, is be tolerant of each other's points of view and move forward, because either way it's a learning experience for us all, right? So with that being said, next week is December 9th. It's not?
Yes, it is.
December 9th?
Yes, it is.
What the heck?
Yes, it is.
I can't believe that it's December 9th already. And I know what is
already.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about, I don't know. Who knows at this point? So make sure in the meantime, in between time, if you want to keep up with either myself, Sporty Spunky Angel, or Andreas, absolutely nothing like a Pimp Ferguson, you can always follow me on Periscope, KiKi Richardson. You can follow me on Twitter, KiKi_Richardson, Facebook, KiKi Richardson, and everything else in between. Sporty Spunky Angel is Jams86. That's JAMMS86, and that's on Twitter. It's on Instagram, and it's on Periscope. And then Andreas, I have no idea what his social media presence is because it changes every stinking day. Sponge of words, flag on the play. Ain't no telling who the hell he is from one moment to the next. Who are you on social media? Who are you?
Yeah, who are you on social media?
See, Slap has many different personalities.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what are you?
Dodo Bird.
Slap.
So what are you? On
Slap,
what?
something
Twitter,
like
Instagram, or what?
On all of them.
Okay.
I'm only on.
You're not Slap on Twitter. Just FYI.
I'm only on Twitter. That's all I'm on.
Okay.
I don't.
He's on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. He may not go on there, but he's on there. And on Twitter, he's not Slap. He don't even know what he is. He's actually Sponge of Words on Twitter. But anyway, I digress. Yes. If
Damn.
there's
Okay.
if there's anything else that they need to know about us, what do they need to do, Andreas and Sporty Spunky Angel?
Google us, bitches.
Unless you my mama, then you don't have the right to Google us. All right, I'm tired. I'm out the door. I can't do no more. Y'all ready to have a Kiki?
I'm ready to have
Yes, I am.
I'm ready to have a Kiki as well. I'm sorry we couldn't get Grim V on in time, but call us back next week. Call us back, baby. We'll make sure we get you on. Tweet us, follow us. We can have a discourse. There's no worries. All right. With that being said, it's time to go have a Kiki. All right.
Motherfucker.
This Kiki is This Kiki is